She was once untouchable, a queen draped in gold and power. But whispers turned to rage, and hunger turned to hate. The streets of Paris demanded her head justice carved in blood. Would Marie Antoinette escape, or would the guillotine claim its queen? Marie Antoinette was born in Vienna, Austria, in 1755, the 15th child of Empress Maria Theresa of the powerful Habsburg dynasty. From the start, her destiny was never her own. At just 14 years old, she was sent to France to cement a political alliance. Married off to Louis Auguste, the awkward grandson of King Louis XV, the union symbolized peace between Austria and France. But for Marie, it marked the beginning of a life under the unyielding gaze of the French court. The French royal court at Versailles was a world unlike anything she had ever seen, lavish, cruelly gossipy, and obsessed with appearances. Marie Antoinette, with her charm and youthful beauty, quickly drew attention. Yet, her Austrian background made her a target. Courtiers called her the Austrian woman with disdain, whispering that she was foreign and untrustworthy. Her marriage was troubled from the start. Louis Auguste, later Louis XVI, was painfully shy and inexperienced, and for years the marriage went unconsummated. The court gossiped relentlessly, and pamphlets known as libels circulated mocking the young queen for being cold or unfit. When the union finally produced children years later, the rumors only grew wilder, accusing her of infidelity and claiming the heirs were illegitimate. But if whispers damaged her reputation, her taste for extravagance destroyed it. Marie Antoinette loved fashion, gambling, and theater. She spent vast sums on gowns, towering hairstyles, diamonds, and masked balls. She built her own retreat at Versailles, the Petit Trianon, where she played at being a shepherdess in silk dresses, far from the suffocating rituals of the main court. To her, it was escape. To the people of France, it was insult. France was suffering. Bread shortages grew worse, famine spread, and debt from wars, including support of the American Revolution, drained the treasury. Ordinary people starved, while reports of the Queen's excesses filled the streets. Pamphlets gave her a new name, Madame Déficit. She became the scapegoat for France's financial ruin. And then came the phrase that would forever be tied to her, though she never actually said it. Let them eat cake. Whether myth or slander, the idea that the Queen dismissed the starving poor with such cruelty hardened public hatred. She was no longer the Austrian princess or the misunderstood queen. To the people, she was arrogance itself, a glittering symbol of monarchy's indifference. As revolutionary ideas spread, liberty, equality, fraternity, resentment toward her only grew. When crowds marched to Versailles in October 1789, demanding bread and dragging the royal family to Paris under guard, it was clear the age of royal untouchability was over. Marie Antoinette was no longer the adored young queen. She was becoming the face of everything France wanted to destroy. The October March brought the royal family to Paris, housed under watch in the Tuileries Palace. Though no longer free, Marie Antoinette still attempted to wield influence. She exchanged secret letters with foreign monarchs, especially her brother, the Emperor of Austria, hoping for aid. Each move, however, only deepened suspicions that she was plotting against the revolution. As the revolution radicalized, the Queen's image darkened further. Revolutionary newspapers depicted her as a monster, an adulteress, even a traitor conspiring to restore tyranny. She was called La Trichune, a cruel pun, meaning both Austrian woman and female dog. Caricatures showed her in obscene acts, feeding the people's anger. In June 1791, Marie Antoinette made her most fatal mistake. She and Louis attempted to flee Paris in disguise, hoping to reach loyalist forces near the Austrian border. It was a desperate plan, but poorly executed. At Varennes, they were recognized and captured. The family was marched back to Paris, humiliated before jeering crowds. Their attempted escape confirmed what many already believed. The Queen would betray France for her own survival. By 1792, France was at war with Austria and Prussia. Revolutionaries suspected Marie Antoinette of secretly guiding enemy forces. Inside the Tuileries, she was isolated, hated by the mob outside. On August 10, 1792, insurgents stormed the palace. Blood flowed in the streets as guards were slaughtered. The monarchy collapsed in a single day. Louis XVI was put on trial, convicted of treason, and executed by guillotine in January 1793. Marie Antoinette, once the glittering queen of Europe, was now simply the widow Capet. Her fate was sealed, but the revolutionaries were in no hurry. They wanted to break her spirit first. She was moved to the Temple prison with her children, but separation soon followed. Her son, Louis Charles, was taken away, pressured to testify against her. Her daughter and sister-in-law were kept apart. Marie Antoinette, once surrounded by jewels, courtiers, and silk gowns, now lived in a cold cell, guarded night and day. The Queen still carried herself with dignity. Prison guards noted her regal bearing, her composure in the face of humiliation. But the revolution demanded blood. In October 1793, she was brought to trial before the Revolutionary Tribunal. The charges were staggering: treason, depletion of the treasury, conspiracy with Austria, sexual corruption of her own son. The last accusation horrified even her enemies. "Nature itself refuses to answer such a charge," she declared. But her words could not save her. The verdict was certain before the trial began. She was condemned to death. Once the Queen of France, she was now a condemned criminal awaiting the blade of the guillotine. Her final dawn had come. October 16, 1793. Paris woke buzzing with anticipation. Crowds gathered early, hungry to see the downfall of the most hated woman in France. The Queen who once glittered in diamonds would meet her end in rough linen. At dawn, guards entered her cell in the Conciergerie prison. She was given a plain white shift to wear, stripped of any remaining symbols of royalty. Her hair was cut short to bare her neck for the blade. She wrote a final letter to her sister-in-law, expressing love for her children and forgiveness for her enemies. The revolutionaries never delivered it. Unlike Louis XVI, who was driven to his execution in a closed carriage, Marie Antoinette was paraded through Paris in an open cart. The humiliation was deliberate. Rain had turned the streets to mud, and her white garments were spattered as she was jolted along. Crowds jeered, shouting insults, calling her whore, traitor, and worse. Some laughed, others spat, many simply stared, wanting to witness the death of a queen. Even in disgrace, she held herself proudly. Witnesses noted that she sat straight, her gaze forward, refusing to bow her head. At the Place de la Revolution, the guillotine loomed. It was the same scaffold where her husband had died months earlier. She climbed the wooden steps with dignity, but stumbled once, accidentally stepping on the foot of her executioner. Her last words were simple: "Pardon me, sir, I did not mean to do it." The blade fell a moment later. At 12:15 p.m., Marie Antoinette was dead. The crowd roared with approval. Her head was shown to the people, once crowned with jewels, now lifeless and pale. The Austrian woman was gone, but her legend had only begun. For some, her death was justice, a symbol of liberty triumphing over tyranny. For others, it was cruelty, a queen destroyed by slander and circumstance, scapegoated for a broken system she never controlled. In death, Marie Antoinette became myth. To revolutionaries, she remained Madame Déficit, the frivolous queen who played while France starved. To romantics, She became a tragic figure, a woman trapped by politics, vilified beyond reason, yet dignified at the end. History has debated her ever since. But for the people of 1793, there was no debate. The guillotine had spoken. The queen who once danced in glittering halls of Versailles had met her end in blood and mud, her fall a mirror of the monarchy itself. France was reborn, not with coronation, but with execution. Marie Antoinette's story endures as both a warning and a tragedy. The rise and fall of the guillotine queen. You can subscribe to the channel for more interesting content.